Hey. Welcome once again to stayfhomekins.
This podcast of this goddamn never-ending pandemic.
Right. I'm Paul F. Tompkins.
I'm Janie Haddad Tompkins.
I'm a comedian.
I'm an actress.
We are a married couple living in Los Angeles, and we have been doing a podcast over the course of the global pandemic caused by the novel coronavirus, COVID-19.
From the 2019 coronavirus disease 2019.
That's right.
We don't say anything. I mean, we say things.
We don't say anything, but we do say things.
We say, oh my God, that dishwasher's gurgling.
Oh my God. Do you hear that dishwasher gurgling?
It's gurgling. Okay, so I got my weekend water. I'm trying out this is my first time trying hard seltzer. What's up? What's that?
I'm proud of you.
I mean, I have done like a vodka LaCroix. I've been known to.
Hey, look, I'm no fresh off the boat newbie. I've done a vodka LaCroix on occasion.
This is like a pre-canned something. Well, because I walked up to the local liquor store and I was like, I want that new Topo Chico.
Gave him a piece of your mind. I demanded that Topo Chico.
I wanted that new Topo Chico hard seltzer.
Mm-hmm.
I also wanted some Mega Millions tickets. It's up to 277 million. I didn't have any cash on me and I couldn't get the Mega Millions tickets. Also, they did not have any Topo Chico hard seltzer.
What do you think is going to happen in a cashless society with the lottery?
I mean,
they're going to let you buy with card?
With like a Venmo or something.
I didn't know you couldn't buy lottery tickets with a credit card.
I didn't either till just now. Because I was like, I thought like I had just done like my Apple Pay. I thought I was an Apple Pay.
Is that a rule everywhere? Is it state by state or is it?
I bet it's a rule. I bet it's like, I bet it has to do with like how it's like not taxed or something. That's what I think.
They probably don't want people scalping lottery tickets.
I don't know. I just know I didn't get my Mega Millions. And so I walked away and I was like, I hope no one wins. And it rolls over so I can go up there with some cash and get my Mega Millions.
Have you ever won anything? Kind of anything?
No.
Any kind of like going to the liquor store, buy a scratcher, anything like that? I
mean, no. Well, I don't really do scratchers.
Pardon me, all the hell.
I'm a big. What are you doing, scratchers?
That's why we're star-crossed lovers.
I just like to kind of dip my toe in on the big, and really all I'm buying
you like the sense of community.
I like for me. All I'm really buying is a couple of days of fantasizing. That's what I'm purchasing.
Yes.
I'm not really like. I'm not going to win it.
You're buying a weekend of dreams.
Just going, although now that the HGTV smart home is open for biz, I got to enter that thing twice a day now for like 6 weeks.
And where is the smart home this time?
It's in Naples, Florida. Oh, I like it. I like this smart home, because find the dream home, fine. I was prepared to move to Rhode Island. I did not win it. But I like the decor in this one better. Mm-hmm. First of all, the back patio is like off the hook. Okay? It has like a huge like solo stove on the deck, and it has one of those like swim spas, where you can swim against the current it creates.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't have to have a giant lap pool. You just go on your deck, you jump in, and you start swimming in laps against the current.
It's like a water treadmill, if you will.
Yeah, but for swimming.
Yeah, that's what the water part is. I didn't think you got in there. You walked.
People do water aerobics.
People do. You can't stop them.
I bet you can do that in there.
You could.
You could do
that
like a running
man.
Fucking
drag if you just got in there.
That's
like
not
trudging against the current.
probably good for people with injury. With injury.
If you're a person with injury, I'm sorry. I love you.
No, he doesn't.
How dare you
No, he doesn't.
drive a wedge between me and people with injury?
Making fun of you.
People with injury, I was not making fun of you. I was making, if anything, I was making fun of me.
He just said the quiet part out loud. I hate when people on Twitter say that. Oh, they just said the quiet part out loud. No, they just said the out loud part out loud.
Yeah, they're just assholes.
Anyway, there's also an outdoor kitchen. I spied one of those countertop pizza ovens. Oh, by the way, then you take the tour of the kitchen. The kitchen has like an island because all like dream kitchens have an island.
You can take this to the bank. Every dream kitchen has an island.
You can charge your phone on the island.
Dang.
You just plop it right down.
The whole island? Anywhere on the island?
It looked at might cause cancer.
It irradiates your food. It puts 5G in your food, and then Bill Gates can find you.
I heard Naples is actually like the nice part of Florida.
I think I've heard that too, that it's very nice.
Yeah. Because
I just don't want to move to Florida.
It's like up in the, is it up in the panhandle? We're not going to move to Florida. We're just going to vacation in Florida.
Oh, so we're keeping this house.
Yeah.
We wouldn't just sell
You
it.
think I'm going to, what? You think I'm going to win the smart home and just phone someone up and be like, buy my smart home? The thing is like party ready. It's like totally furnished.
Now you're talking. I want to move into a party ready house. Here's what I want to know is where do these homes come from that are raffled off like this? Are they built specifically for this purpose?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
And you know this for a fact?
Yep.
Okay. Source?
This is not my first rodeo.
That is true. I will have to trust you on this because you're in this world.
Anyway, my point is I'm trying this hard seltzer. I got this off-brand. It wasn't the Topo Chico. They didn't have it. I asked. I was like, are y'all getting it? And he was like, we're trying. Like, our supplier we've been asking for it. And I was like, all right. And then I left with other things to drink. This is like I got this off-brand one. That's fine.
You mentioned solo stoves.
Yes.
And I would like to talk about this.
Yeah.
We bought a solo stove.
No, we were gifted.
Oh, that's right.
It was a gift.
Who gave it to us?
My mom.
Your lovely mother gave it
Yeah.
to us.
So I had said that we had gone to Matanda.
I forgot that. Yeah.
So we were at Matanda's house and they were like, oh my God, we have this solo stove. They have like a whole outdoor situation going on.
Yes, they have a wonderful outdoor situation.
And they're like, this thing is awesome. It's like this little like metal canister and you build a fire in it. It's real hot. And
it's like a high-end trash can.
It's like, yeah, it's like I don't think
it's a beautiful trash can that you could build
like,
fires in.
You want to have like some hobos over.
Yeah, if you want to have Rocky's friends sing some doo-wop around there. Take it back, do, take it back.
I don't think you're supposed to say hobos anymore, but John Hodgman wrote a whole thing about it.
Yes.
Are you allowed to say him anymore? It's an old-fashioned term.
Yeah. I mean, nobody uses it anymore except to be funny.
I mean, I'm using it like if you want to have ghosts of hobo, like
yeah,
like
yeah.
What is the word? What is it? Is it a short for something?
Hobo?
Yeah, like hop in the trains or hop in the
I bet it must be, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Homeless Bo?
I don't know. I don't care. So don't worry about writing in to me.
You can look it up.
Yeah, I have Google.
Don't.
Alexa.
Don't drag her into
Okay, so I was like, oh my God, we went there and we sat around their solo stove and then we stuck some, hot dog sausage things on a spear and all this stuff. And it was really neat. And it's like a self-contained thing. And there's other like cool things about it. It's lightweight, like, you know, it's not messy. You just clean it, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And I had mentioned this. I mean, I mentioned it like a while ago. And then next thing you know, for Christmas, we were gifted a solo stove.
Now, here's why I thought we bought it. Because we did buy accessories for it.
Yes.
And this leads me to what I want to talk about.
Yes. We were lacking in the things we needed to use it.
And we like, here's the thing. We bought a bunch of things. You don't need a lot of things for the stove. Calling it a stove, I think, is kind of generous. It's a sort of fire pit kind of deal.
Yeah.
And so we bought a few things. They email me almost every day.
Wait, how is that possible? Because I'm the one that purchased it.
I think I must have gotten one of the things.
So I did it through my email, and they don't email me at all.
Well, you're very lucky because they email me often. And it's like, guys, I don't know what to tell you. I got everything I need.
I mean, unsubscribe.
You only make so many things.
Unsubscribe.
Well, honey, of course I'll unsubscribe when I think to do that.
Unsubscribe and report spam? No, you don't have to report spam.
It's not, to me, it's not so much that I'm...
Cuckoo?
Hi, cuckoo. Hi, cuckoo. To me, it's not so much about getting the emails. It's that I can't believe they send so many when it's like, come on. What are you doing?
You got to set some boundaries with them.
You're not inventing new things every day.
Here's what's funny about, though, us getting this solo. Here's what y'all need to know about us.
This is the irony.
The irony about us. One, we don't like to be outside. I don't.
You like it less than I do. I can handle a little more.
I think being outside is like fine. I just, you know, and like people who are like, oh, like you go have lunch with them and then and you go in the restaurant and they're like, indoor or outdoor. I'm like, please don't say outdoor. Please don't say outdoor. And every time it's like, oh my God, outdoor. And I'm like, ugh.
I will say at restaurants, I prefer to eat indoors. I don't really like the outdoor dining experience that much.
Why would you?
Because very few places make it worthwhile. A lot of times it's just like we have an outside and we put some tables out there. Wait, I want to give you a quote from Peter O'Toole, my favorite actor, who said once, I can't stand light. I hate weather. My idea of heaven is moving from one smoke-filled room to another.
I think he's after my own heart.
Now, you know he's passed on.
Yes.
And you know that
I don't know what's happening right now.
You texted me one day, oh no, Peter O'Toole died. And I was upset for a second because we had both forgotten that he had died like a few years before that.
Oh, no. It was one of those Twitter things.
Yeah.
So I made you grieve him a second time.
Yeah, but I had already grieved him. I knew that he was dead.
Sucks.
But I was still like, oh no. I wrote a fucking thing about it. Like every time.
Well, don't listen to me.
But you had such good intentions, honey, because you knew he was my fave.
I know he was his fave. Well, and so that reminds me of that bar in New York where you're still allowed to smoke. Bar Tabac or whatever.
Ugh. Can you imagine how bad that place stinks?
I have to look up the name because every 8 months or so I have to text Allie and be like, what's the name of the bar where we can
fucking place crammed with Fran Leibowitz's?
No, when I went, it was not Fran Leibowitz's. It was like, you know, bunch of Gen X assholes. Anyway, okay. So the one thing, so we don't like to be outside too much unless it's like the beach or whatever. And then the other thing, or like a national park, like I'm down for that. Mm-hmm. You know, when you've been to like a national park, like your backyard is kind of a joke. Like you're kind of like, oh, well, I've been to a national park. If I'm going to be outside, I should be in a national park, not out back or whatever. Okay, this is why I have to take a vitamin D supplement because this is like I had a deficiency because I'm not, and I live in LA. Okay, the second thing you should know about us is we're afraid of fire.
What? Are we?
I thought we were both on the same page with that. We're not on the same page with that.
Expand on this.
We're afraid of fire.
This is not something we've ever discussed.
We're not like fire people. We're water people.
We're not people that like to do the work of fire things.
Well,
but we're not. I'm not afraid of fire. I mean, any more than anyone else is.
Okay.
I'm not Frankenstein. Oh, hiccup.
God, you take a break there, cowboy.
Okay. I'll keep going. I'll work through it.
Okay, because we can pause. Go drink some water upside down in the other room.
The thing is, one time my friend Buddy Fitzpatrick cured me of hiccups over the phone by giving me all these complicated. It was this very complicated method, like all these things that I had to do, and it worked. And then he told me afterwards that he was making it all up.
Because, okay, I have a theory about that. I have a theory about that. There is no cure for hiccups. They stop when they stop. You may be in the middle of something, trying. Okay, because like one time I want to say it was on the Today Show, they had this girl who had like hiccups for like 3 weeks or a month or something.
I'll never forget
and
that.
the doctors like couldn't help her. So, anyone who was telling her like, oh, hold your breath or spin around 3 times and spit on your hand or whatever. Like she was probably like, fuck. Shut up. It's not going to stop or whatever. Anyway, that's my theory.
I get that.
Even though every time I get the hiccups, and I get them like every day.
Every day? What? Are you serious?
I have hiccups like, okay, maybe every other day. I have like a little, minute of hiccups. Well, I guess it depends on like if I ate too fast or whatever,
Right.
And so I always hold my breath. Because I've heard that gets rid of them.
Yeah.
And then I'm just hiccuping through held breath. And then they stop.
That's the worst. I've had that happen too.
My hiccups don't last very long, thankfully, knock on wood. That's me knocking on wood.
Mine don't usually either. I was thinking about this because one of the Korean toddler that I follow. And now she has a baby brother named
The
Ryu.
Korean toddler influencer.
Ahin. And her little brother Ryu. Who's getting very fat and adorable. He's a newborn, and like when you see, there was a video of him, and he had hiccups, and it's so funny how when babies have hiccups, it shakes their entire body, like their whole frame is like jolted by each hiccup.
That's funny.
It's so funny to me, and they don't know what's going on.
I get it. I totally get it.
They're pretty chill about it. Babies are pretty chill about hiccups. They don't care.
They don't care. They're like, whatever. It's my body. Someone's going to take care of it.
Here's what I do. Look, I'm brand new. Here's what I do know. This is somebody else's problem. That's all babies.
All right. So maybe you're not afraid of fire. I'm afraid of fire. But like when Amanda was doing it, she was like sticking her damn hand in the solar. She's like, I'm not scared.
That was extreme, yeah.
She's like, I'm not afraid of fire. And I was like,
she really rubbed your face in
it. No, because she didn't know I was.
Right. She could sense it. I think people who are not afraid of fire. But we got the stove, and
like
we thought, okay, we got it like was it right before quarantine?
No, Christmas happened right in the middle of quarantine.
So it's the middle. It was the quarantine Christmas.
Yes.
And we thought, well, this is great because we had been over the summer, we had
leading into the fall.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had spent time outside. We got a long table for the backyard so we could distance with people in person. And we thought, oh, this will be great when it gets colder. We'll have this. And we never set it up.
Well, I think once New Year's happened,
Mm-hmm.
the numbers were really bad here in the winter.
Yes, that's true.
And, I think we thought naively we could try to fly to see, my mom or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just like fool's gold or what it was like. No, that was not going to happen. So, a fool's errand, I should say. And so
the fool's rush in.
Yeah. And so then after Christmas, it was a little like, and then I don't know if you remember this, but I got pretty sick with like a food poisoning in January. And then you also got a little sick.
That seems like a million years ago.
So that laid me up in January.
Yeah.
Then February. Look, it just got real depressing around here. We weren't exactly phoning up people like, come hang out in our fun backyard. We're going to light a fire and just sit around the fire.
It's a fool's paradise.
No, it was more like survival mode.
Yeah.
Like I literally was like, when is this fucking pandemic going to end? Anyway, so that was happening. So, but now, I guess like now we're like getting into fire season and like we're not going to be able to do it again until the fall.
Yeah, yeah.
Although people light fires around here.
Yes, when they're not supposed to, but we smell it.
Like on no burn days.
Yeah.
And I'm like, y'all are being part of the problem. Anyway, so that's our podcast. This is our podcast. This is quite a week. This was a week.
I'm trying to remember what happened this week.
Well, there was big news. There was this cop was on trial.
Oh, Jesus, yes.
For
that stuff.
Murdering George Floyd, and Derek Chauvin was on trial, and they found them guilty on all 3 charges. And that was like stressful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was stressful because it was like, are they going to like fuck this up?
Yes. And what made it worse is that after, for like 1 second, you were glad, okay, he got convicted. And then there were very quickly like 3 more cop shootings, incidents where cops killed black people like right in a row.
Yeah. I have to say, I probably shouldn't be saying this on the podcast, but I have a weird feeling about it now. Mm-hmm. Like it almost feels like there's some plan. Like
the cops are showing us who's boss, like that kind of thing.
Like it's retaliation.
Yeah, I don't entirely disagree with that. I know that there were, after that verdict, cops were just like in helicopters flying very low. That happened here. I think in Columbus, that night, like after that teenager got shot in Columbus.
Oh, and I have a theory about that guy too.
I saw this, that a helicopter was flying around in this pattern so that his flight path spelled out the initial CPD. Somebody at the scene, like where it was taped off, said "Blue Lives Matter." A cop said that.
It's like there's like some like scary gang that's taken over America. Is how it feels.
You mean the police?
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But anyway, the guy that killed the teenager in Columbus without trying to de-escalate the situation, apparently is ex-military. And I just watched this whole documentary about the insurrection on PBS.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend it. It's a Frontline, guys. It's a Frontline.
It's Frontline, guys.
But they did it in conjunction with ProPublica, and that guy's reporting was like amazing.
Oh, we talked about this last week because he did the really quiet voiceover.
Oh, yeah, he did the quiet voiceover. Anyway, one of the conclusions that they found was how many military and ex-military were part of
the insurrection. Yeah.
And so I'm just saying. I don't know for sure the situation in Columbus. I haven't been following it that closely, but that obviously raises a red flag where we are right now.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was awful. It's awful it's awful to feel even like relief and joy, I guess, not the right word, but like of someone who's going to prison for life when he didn't have to make the decisions he did to even get to that place.
Yeah.
And someone's dead. So that family will never have their loved one back.
Yeah.
So it's just a weird, I don't know. The justice system is weird and barbaric and somehow like I don't know. I don't have a stomach for it sometimes. It's
our justice system is like a thing that like most things, like our government, it's a thing that works on paper. Like you look at it and you're like, oh, here's checks and balances. And this is, presumed innocent until proven guilty, and all this stuff. But it does not, in practice, it does not take into account human beings doing what human beings do. And prejudices and fears and all that stuff.
Well, the thing that bothers me about it is that we look at like punishment as some sort of deterrent as opposed to trying to prevent, through mental health outreach or, addiction program, whatever it is, education, honestly, all the things that can curb crime. It's like if you want to curb crime, you should nip it in the bud before, instead of just making everything criminal.
Well, yes, but I mean that is part of how the system works. Is that capitalism is a white supremacist construct, and it forces certain people to be outside the system. It's much harder for them to break through that system and make money. There are communities that are, walled off and forgotten about, and then we blame the communities for their problems. It's like the only way for things to get better is not to reform the system that it is, but that exists, but to dismantle that system and replace it with something better.
A lot of it is like those communities were created like through like redlining and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like, did you know that there's this community in Long Beach that so I guess I didn't know this, but like Orange County, which is the county, a lot of people don't know maybe that it's the county that neighbors Los Angeles, and it contains a lot of beach communities. And it's sort of like, I guess some people know because wasn't there like some CW show called The OC, and there was about like rich people?
There was the OC, but there's also the Real Housewives of Orange County.
Oh, okay, sorry. So I didn't watch any of that stuff. I didn't watch Real Housewives, and I didn't watch OC, but
neither did I, honey.
But I guess the thing is, you guys probably know that Orange County is like this hoity-toity rich place.
Very conservative.
And but apparently it's like really racist and has like a terribly racist past, like with Klan and stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that because I've only been to Orange County, I think, a few times. But there is this, there was a Black family owned beach resort.
Oh yeah. I just heard. Yeah.
In kind of, I want to say it was in Long Beach, and that racist place ran them out of town.
Yeah.
And then I guess somehow the city took over the property like took over their beach resort property. And it's like a lot of land. And now the city of Los Angeles is returning it. It's worth like 70-something million dollars.
The city of Los Angeles?
Wasn't Orange County? Oh, or the state maybe. Is it the state of California?
Yeah.
Or maybe it is Orange County itself has decided.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's some like people.
Right.
I don't know who decided it. Somebody is deciding it.
Here's what we know. It has been decided by someone.
And they are going...
I only read the headline.
I mean, I think I read a little more than the headline, but there was a lot of news this week.
Yeah.
And so...
How about it? Yeah.
And so it was like... Also, like, I didn't know about it at all, so it was all new information. Because I didn't know about it at all. Mm-hmm. And then, but anyway, I thought that was like... I feel like that sets a good example.
Yeah, I mean,
even though like we're living on native land that we stolen, so but hopefully you'll set a good example for that too.
Let's take a break.
Is it already that time?
Yeah.
We started like 5 minutes ago.
Doesn't it feel like that, honey? That's when it's going really good.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I am sure. I'm watching the time.
Okay. Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hey, bartender.
Yeah?
I'll have the usual.
The usual coming right up.
Oh, this episode of Stayfhomekins is brought to you by Usual Wines. Usual Wines are for the modern drinker. Don't be an old stodgy drinker.
Yeah.
Come into 2021 and get yourself some Usual Wines.
Yeah, have a home bartender. And
ask for the usual. Here's what's unique about Usual Wines. It doesn't come in a big old wine bottle like the regular dumb ass wine bottles.
Oh, I hate them.
They come in an individual bottle that's 6.3 ounces. It's a heavy pour, about a glass and a half of wine. So no more pouring wine, out in the yard. When you're like, this wine's going to turn into vinegar.
So many times we go out in the yard, we have to pour wine in
or we
glass.
have to have some weird pretend mass when you don't want to finish that bottle. The single serve format and bottle design is unique and beautiful. Usual is always fresh, so no more flat, bubbly, or stale rosé. They're low carb and have 0 grams of sugar.
What?
Yeah. They have a red blend, a rosé, a sparkling white, called Brut. They also have Usual Spritz, which is a 8.5 ABV low alcohol, low calorie wine spritzer, which I wish I had right now instead of this dumbass off-brand weekend water I'm drinking right now.
I mean, I wish I liked White Claw, but it's for kids.
No, but this one is like White Claw for grown-ups.
I'm one of those.
And each serving only has 83 calories.
That's good
so
for me.
Please go to www.usualwines.com and use my discount code STAYFHomekins for $8 off your first order and try your first, dare I say, bottle on us.
That's worldwideweb.usualwines.com.
Discount code STAYFHomekins.
Hey, folks, is there something interfering with your happiness or is preventing you from achieving your goals?
I'll say.
Right? I know that feeling very well. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is professional counseling done securely online. And there's a broad range of expertise available, which may not be locally available in many areas. The service is available for clients worldwide, and everyone in the world needs help. Let me tell you something. You can log into your account anytime, send a message to your counselor. You get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions so you won't ever have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room as with traditional therapy. Sitting there hoping you don't run into somebody that you know.
By the way, it's happened to me before.
It's happened to me before, too.
And you know what? Now that we do everything online, it's just more convenient. And if you can talk to someone within 48 hours, that's better than finding a regular therapist IRL because it could take weeks.
That's right. And BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. Look, I've been in therapy.
I'm in therapy.
You're in therapy right now. I'm probably going to go back. Therapy is a great thing. And
I think we should normalize therapy because,
we should.
And also like, I think the Surgeon General I just retweeted him. He was talking about how we all need help and there's nothing to be ashamed of.
No kidding, Serge. So
Thanks,
there you go.
Serge.
BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. Visit their website, read the testimonials that are posted daily. Visit betterhelp.com/homekins. That is better, HELP, and join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. Special offer for Stay F Homekins listeners. Get 10% off your first month. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/homekins. That's betterhelp.com/homekins. Hey,
Get some help. Are you a fan of shows?
Yes.
Like The Office?
Yes.
Or Parks and Rec?
Yes.
Or what about Community?
Yes. What I like about them is that they all involve workplaces.
Oh, well, guess what?
What?
There's a brand new comedy podcast for your listening pleasure called Workplace Comedy Podcast.
Wait a minute. I know all about that podcast. This is created by my old friend, Emmy Laybourne. We've been friends for a million years. She's a hilarious performer.
And remind people how you know Emmy Laybourne.
Well, we worked together on the sitcom Dag.
I'm sure.
Oh, let people applaud.
Okay.
And we're back.
And we're back. So, Emmy Laybourne and Tracy Villar host Workplace Comedy Podcast, which is a new improv podcast set in a fictional water bottling company called Sterling Waters. There are amazing guests. I guess you already know, like Paul.
Right. Like me.
Sean Conroy, Adam Felber, Carl Tart, Lauren Tom. You all know Emmy also outside of DAG. From her role as Mary Catherine Gallagher's BFF in the movie Superstar.
That's right.
And you probably know Tracy Villar from her ton of TV and film, including The Steve Harvey Show. He's from West Virginia. Do the Right Thing and the upcoming Netflix show Made. So please subscribe, leave them a positive review, give them 5 stars, share it with your friends, get into the comedy podcast vibe.
Listen, check it out. I had so much fun doing this show, and it's such a great collection of people. Workplace Comedy Podcast. Check it out, gang.
And subscribe and review. We're back, guys.
We're back, y'all.
Oh my God, that was so fun having a word from our sponsors.
Can I talk about Rutherford Falls?
Oh.
Speaking of Native Americans.
Oh.
The show, I talked about working on the show what seems like a million years ago.
Yes, because you did work on it during the pandemic.
Yes,
and
yes,
it was kind of scary.
It was a very strange but wonderful experience, and we're finally watching the show.
Well, it's a new NBC Peacock comedy.
Yes, it's a Peacock original.
It's a
So it's a streamer.
half-hour comedy starring Ed Helms.
Yes.
So if you have Peacock, I think you can sign up. There's different levels for Peacock,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it dropped all at once this week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we've been watching it. It's so funny.
It's really good. Great
It's so
cast.
funny. It's Ed Helms and Jenna Schmiedling is his co-star on the show. And she is so
She's
funny.
adorable.
She is like,
I love her.
she's so funny and she's just lovable.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a great character. She's such a great performer. But the ensemble, like, there's so many great people on this show. And it's really.
And also,
like,
Paul's part is really. I don't want to spoil it because I might have spoiled it for someone on a text thread and I didn't mean to.
I am in the second episode and then I'm in another episode later on. And I don't want to tell you which one because I am a surprise in that episode.
And also, it's the first Native American showrunner
That's
in
right.
the history of. Is that true?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Like, it's a lot of firsts, and it's
That's great.
it's exciting to watch because it's like knowing that not only are all of these people, getting to work a regular gig on a thing where they would previously, like if they were lucky, they would get a series regular, but to have all of these native people at the same time in the show, it's like you can't help but be struck by it while you're watching it. It's like, wow, this is the most
visibility.
This is the most native citizens I've ever seen in one place.
Unless it was like some historical, like
fucking
drama,
Dances with Wolves or some
Bury
shit.
My Heart, at Wounded Knee.
But it's really funny.
Which is
it's
really good.
really funny, and I'm really enjoying seeing it all put together, and I'm so happy for all the.
But also, Paul was hilarious. I'm sorry, but he was.
You know what? I will say that I was.
You were playing a character that was very much
in my
something
wheelhouse.
that you had a grasp on.
But I was very pleased with my performance, which is not something I say a lot.
But the writing was good for you too.
The writing was great, and they let me ad lib as well. Like they asked me to, and I was
huge.
I was very pleased that you can't tell when I'm saying something.
Yeah, because I would be like, "Did you make that one up?
Yeah.
Did you make that one up?" But then you never remember. You're always like, "I think I did."
This one was a more recent, so I remembered a lot of them. I remembered the stuff that I came up with. But it was a blast, and I'm so glad to see the show.
Yeah, definitely check it out.
So check it out. Yeah, for sure.
I just want to say, I think on the last podcast, we were talking about like boycotts or whatever, and I felt very, shall I say, validated when, because Stacey Abrams was like, "Don't leave Georgia."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, y'all.
Yeah.
People have jobs there." Like the industry, people who work in that industry should not be punished.
Yeah.
There should be another way around this voting. Anyway.
Yes.
I just have to say that because I did, hear from people.
Yeah. Boycotts are they're really tricky. And it's like.
They're 100% tricky because, first of all, you're going against some crazy giant.
Yes.
Yeah. Like Delta or whatever,
Yeah.
Who were we mad at? JetBlue because they gave money to somebody? Yeah. I don't even remember.
Well, and there's always Amazon.
Oh, right. Amazon. Okay. So anyway, I wanted to talk about something that was interesting to me in a weird way. We get all kinds of awesome listener mail. A lot of people and they're very intimate with us and they, say their feelings.
A lot of dick pics.
That's not what I meant. They're vulnerable is what I meant to say.
Yes.
And I think it's beautiful and lovely. And I appreciate all of the engagement. I got an email the show got an email from a performer couple. I think in Chicago. And they were like, "This is a long shot, but like, I just want your advice on how do you get an agent? Like we've been toiling away, and I was like, I have like so much to say about this. I cannot write 10 pages. So I was like, I might just quickly, I don't want to like dominate the whole podcast, but quickly share my experience with that because I think what resonated with me with the email was I was this couple.
Mm-hmm.
I was this couple for 10 years. For 10 years, I could not get representation. I mean, I couldn't. Like it was, don't you think it was crazy?
Yeah, it was a long time.
But like everybody around me
I know. Yeah.
had representation.
Yeah.
And I could not get arrested. And I was like, I got to like a place where I was like, and I will say, and I'll give props. I had commercial representation and I don't count that as much. That's a lot easier to get represented commercially than theatrically.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not in the industry, like it is so hard to get opportunities for jobs unless you have representation. Like it's just like a gatekeeping thing. And like I couldn't get it in New York. I say 10 years in LA, but there were 2 years prior to LA in New York City where I could not get representation.
Right.
So 12 years probably. I was like 12 years out of drama school before I signed with anyone. And it was so like, it really was hard for my self-worth.
Yeah.
Because so much of this industry is mindset. And if you can conquer that, then you can make it, I think.
I mean, that really is.
And I haven't even made it. So
it's really well, I mean, it's like,
I think
making it really is surviving.
Making it is like not letting it beat you down.
Yeah.
Like if it doesn't beat you down, and it does every now and then.
Yeah.
Like,
because it's way more rejection than acceptance.
It's 100. Yes. And then you get to a place. I mean, like I got to a place when everyone around, and I want you to feel free to chime in on this conversation because you lived through like a lot of my journey with that.
Yeah.
Like my journey. And like at one point, like I was like, can't you just ask your agent, Paul, if there's some junior guy over there or girl or gal or somebody's cousin, something like, and your agent, who's still your agent, and he's someone I used to wait tables on, like at the comedy club I used to work, you know, was like, no. He basically was like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So it was humiliating because it was like, wow, you can't even like hook me up with some like a coffee with somebody.
Right.
So I got to like a place where, first of all, you have to be willing to ask your colleague friends if they know anyone.
Yeah.
And that's humiliating. I went through so many of those periods of like, you know, is your person taking anyone on? Like, who do you know at your agency that might, you know, anything, like constant. And then I had like other friends who searched for agents. And I actually, in New York, this one actress that I was taking class with, who's now like an award nominated writer on like Dead to Me or whatever. She sat me down once and gave me advice when I was looking for an agent. And she was like, you have to go about it like it's a business. Like go to the drama bookstore, pull up, buy all the books of all the agencies, do as much, you know, you have to join IMDb Pro. I'm sorry, but you, at least in LA, in New York, you had to join IMDb Pro because then you have to start looking like who represents whom and where who, you know, whose careers do you want to mirror? And then you have to start like a spreadsheet or a running list of like, you know, well, this person's manager is, you know, and if you get a manager, that's good too, because they can introduce you to agent. This is a very boring conversation, I think, probably for a lot of our listeners. That's why I'm hoping like you'll chime in.
I hope that some people who have nothing to do with this industry will find it kind of interesting on some level.
And then you have to start.
But I don't blame anyone if they don't.
And now that we're like after the pandemic, because this is all my advice for pre-pandemic, you have to start setting coffees. You just have to start setting coffees with everyone you know and being like, who do you know? Like, you know, please put the word out. Like, keep your ears open. I'm looking to meet with anyone. I'm willing to meet with anyone, you know, and listen, and like there were times I was going after the same manager. I've probably gone after like several managers in this biz a few times and they were like, no. And I'm like, and I'm still friendly with them. Like I might be friends with them on Facebook or whatever, you know, but just wasn't in the cards or it wasn't a match. And then after, I swear to God, it was like 10 years to the day that I moved here and I ended up signing with an agent here. And not 1 year later, the agency folded because the guy was embezzling money from his clients.
That's right.
And, you know, and I don't know if you remember, it was like this lovely British woman, Susie.
Yeah.
And I'm still friends with her on Facebook. We had dinner with her and her, and her boyfriend and now husband. And I don't think she's in the industry anymore. Because I think that it was very traumatic.
Oh, shit. Cracking a second one.
By the way, this thing's called Summer Water.
Summer Water.
It's called Summer Water by Long Beach something.
The Long Beach Beer Lab. Well, I believe in science, so I'm glad they made this.
Yeah, this is not some Topo
and it's like
Chico.
a little rat chilling out in a hot tub, but he's also got a snorkel on. Oh no, he's in an inner tube.
He's trying to be some Stay-At-Homekins merch at kinshipgoods.com.
What the fuck? These people are ripping us off.
This thing, I don't know about this. I'm
I'll
waiting
see
for.
you in court
I can't wait for the Topo Chico. Is all I have to say. All right. So anyway, so this guy Peter Strain, you can look it up. He had a bi-coastal agency, and he like stole all this money from his clients, and the agency, and he was being investigated by the feds. It was a federal investigation. It was a federal investigation because he was buying like jewels and I don't know, like art instead, like so that it wasn't going into like a tax.
Yeah.
Like you know,
like what I do.
And they, yes, and they threw the book at him, and then the play, and it, you know, and luckily, you know, I didn't make a dime that year, so he couldn't steal from me. I mean, I was new, you know, and I was just like, I was so crazy about trying to get into rooms. Like I was, in a way, it was actually, now that I'm looking back on it, I can look back on it now as like, at the time it was so painful for me. Like I was suffering so much and grappling with my self-worth so much during that period in my life.
Yeah.
That it was very painful. But now I can look back on it as like this boot camp because I've got the hustle. Like I did it. Like I built that
is absolutely true.
Like I built that muscle. Like I know
the hustle muscle.
I've got the hustle muscle. I know I've like finessed my emails and, you know, query emails or who's who or who I need to pay attention to. Like I Google names like crazy on any opportunity I get, you know. I just like, I have it all in not a file, but like.
You know what I think the secret is? Because I think that I agree with all of your advice.
Yes.
I would just say that.
I just poured this on. Sorry. I just baptized myself. I baptized myself. All right. Yeah.
I would say that the secret to, not the secret, but what is going to help you in the long run is to not necessarily be aggressive, but to cast a wide net.
Yes.
So you don't want to push anybody that you wouldn't normally be able to push in your normal life. Like if you have actor friends that you are close with, you can say, hey, can you try to get me a meeting with this person? Or can you put in a word for me or whatever?
Someone just did that with me this year. Like a friend of mine, this really funny actor I worked with, he was looking for a voiceover agent. And he was like, I see you're with, you know, A3 or whatever. Do you mind? I just booked this gig, you know, and he you know, and that made it easy for me to say, oh, this is my friend and he just booked this voiceover gig and he's unrepresented, you know.
Yeah.
And my agents were like, we're not looking for anyone, but feel free to send his stuff. Now, the good news is he actually landed somewhere, but it wasn't through me. But it didn't bother me to just shoot an email with his information.
Right.
Because honestly, it's their job.
Yeah.
It's their job to be open and listening and, you know, even if it's someone that they don't want to represent, like maybe this year, you know, they might need, you know, add people next year. So it's just a business. And like, I had so many rejections. Like I can't even tell you how many rejections I had. Like and meetings, like I would go on, I had a meeting when that place folded, the Peter Strain place. I ended up getting a meeting and in the meeting, they wanted to know, I realized in the meeting, the only reason I got the meeting was because they wanted to know what I knew about Peter Strain. Like they wanted the dirt. And I'd never met the guy because I came in through a different agent.
Wow.
There. And of course they didn't represent me. But I mean, you know, that was a day where I got myself like camera ready with my hair and makeup and drove around and all my resume and headshots in my hand and my little spiel and everything, like honestly thinking like I might walk away having made, you know, a match.
Yeah.
And it was a waste of my time.
Yeah.
It was like a waste. I mean, that's just one, I'm giving you one example out of like so many.
Yeah.
Like so many. And I don't know. I mean, I ended up like I'm with my current agent now, who's like literally my like everything. Like she's like, I like love her on a level that's not even funny. Like I just love her as a.
So starting to sound concerning.
I love her as a human being.
Yeah.
Before I love her as an agent,
yeah.
But she's got the hustle muscle, and I know like, and I still haven't, got her any. I mean, we're in it to win it.
Yeah.
And one of the things like I learned, like when you go in and you start talking about yourself, and you have to take charge of those meetings. Like you have to be like, I'm looking for someone. I want the next person I work with as an agent or a manager to be the last.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for longevity in this business instead of, just a flame out. And that's that's, you just gotta like, I don't know. I also think probably looking for an agent this past year during the pandemic was pretty impossible.
Yeah.
Because the whole time I was waiting for all of my reps to be laid off or furloughed.
Yeah.
Like I was like, how are they going to get through this? Like I really did. I was like, it just was it was just the landscape. There were so many layoffs last year there were so many layoffs.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't even know what the deal is. Like if they still own office space or rent office space. I mean, they've all been working from home.
Yeah.
And right before, so my agent that I ended up with, I actually ended up with her because I had been reaching out. I'd been reaching out to everyone I knew from all the contacts I made in the industry for being here for 15 years. And I just happened to know this really nice comedy manager just through the world of y'all, and he said, let me think for you. And he knew of like an agent at this smaller place that was sort of like newer, and he liked her, and he made the introduction, and it was just a favor. Like he wasn't even my manager. He's just somebody that like I'll forever be grateful for. And in my imagined like Emmy speeches, I thank him. Yeah. Because my fantasy Emmy.
No, I overhear you practicing.
But I think it's just a matter of like you've got to go about it with the same kind. The same kind of. It's like finding a job or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just got to be like, when someone says no, just be like, great, on to the next, and keep track of everything.
Yeah.
And if they say, I'm not looking right now, just check back in a few months, like definitely check back in a few months.
Yeah.
Like don't let up. And whenever you're doing stuff, you have to be like, oh, I just uploaded a funny web series. I know you're like agreeing with me, but I feel like, is there anything else you want to add? Your career went so differently than mine. I think that's why.
It's a little easier with stand up, I think, because stand up is it's a different art form. It's like, it's easily digestible. It's a solo thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to come see me be a part of this larger thing.
Yes. Oh my God. I'd invite people to plays I was in that even my friends wouldn't come see.
Yeah. So, and then I learned that heartache when I got into improv.
Improv is that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. But so for me, I was able to get seen by people who made it their business to go see people doing stand-up.
They'd go to the comedy festivals, like, in Aspen or Montreal or in Austin or and they were looking.
Yeah, I got a manager from the Aspen Comedy Festival one year.
Yeah.
Because Dana Gould recommended me, like said to his manager, like, you should check this guy out, Yeah. So my experience is different. I would say that, but I will say that just from a general sort of business note is, build a network and don't be pushy, because it's weird when I've had people that are like, hey man, you said you were going to talk to your whoever. And it's like, I whatever, I'm getting to it,
And I also, like, when you're making connections, that's another thing, is like, don't ask for things like reach out and connect and be like, I just want to let people know I'm up to this. I did this short film. It's here. Thanks for listening or thanks for playing or whatever. And then you can be like, hey, my short film got, a lot of views on Vimeo. I am looking for someone and I'm putting out feelers. If you know Vimeo, it doesn't have to be like, will you introduce me specifically to your agent?
I would also say, like, while you're trying to make that happen, keep busy, keep doing things. And either if you are a creator, keep creating things. If you are not a creator, if you're just a performer, get hooked up with people who create things, who are like the people who are at your same level, who are looking to do stuff.
And this couple, I think that reached out, they do stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what, there is a level of frustration, I think, there. Absolutely.
But
also, by the way, another thing I would do just as an actor, this is not like a stand-up thing as much, but since I didn't have anyone representing me, I was like a shark about getting auditions. Like I would go on, I would go on Showfax where the sides were posted for new projects. Like if I saw something in Deadline or, I would get the breakdowns through, I don't know how I used to get them, but I used to get the breakdowns like through all these networks of actors out here before they cracked down on that, where we're all like, spending like $12 a month together.
Like somebody had one login and then everyone was using it.
And I basically I would drive like my $12 in cash to this like post box, like down on, like Melrose or whatever, and like put the cash in the box, cause it was like covert because the guy who runs the thing is like apparently crazy, but so I would get the breakdowns and I would find the sides and then I would tape myself for stuff or I would like try to find like the casting or I would just like drive to the casting offices and submit like my headshot and resume in their drop boxes. Yeah. And, and I would like talk myself into lots. Like I would drive to like Gower, Paramount. I mean, I can't tell you like how many times I would drive.
Can't do that anymore, though.
No, you can. You can.
Really?
Because they know you're an actor. You're there with your little headshot and everything, and they're like, "Where's the casting? Like, I want to take this to casting." Blah blah blah. And they're like, "Oh, there's like a box outside of this door or whatever." Right. Like they'll let you do it. And I just would
if you're cute.
Well, I think there's like so many actors that are doing it. I don't know. Like
there's a lot of cute actors.
I would just like take like my days I would spend trying to get auditions for stuff. And then I would do casting workshops. That's another thing that happens here in LA that I don't know if it happens in Chicago.
Right. I bet it does.
But like you sign up for these workshops.
There's so much stuff happening there all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. And the casting directors like run them. I mean, that's how I met like half of my actor friends in LA. Yeah. Oh my God, it's Cuckoo again.
Cuckoo's saying, stop talking about this. But
like then I'll meet like other actors and I'll be like, and then I swear to God, there's always like 3 actors that are like, I got an under 5 from that casting workshop. I never got even an audition from a casting. Right. I never got an audition from a casting workshop. I've never been booked off of tape, and it took me over 10 years to get a theatrical agent. Right. And all I did was just like hustle like crazy. Yeah. And I was depressed. I mean, like, and you can attest to this. Like, I thought I was like a loser.
I know. It really fucks with your self-esteem.
I thought I was a loser.
It really fucks with your self-esteem.
And then I found the right person and I was like, oh, it has nothing to do with that. And then I'd be like, why does so-and-so have some fucking agent? They suck. You just get like weirdly.
That's still true though.
Combitter. Well, it is. It is true. But I mean, everyone has their own journey and like you have to find the right people. And part of it is it's weirdly like dating, like putting yourself out there. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Well,
anyway, that's my little spiel.
That helps, you know.
I just wanted to like talk about that because I was like, oh, I actually have a lot to say about this mindset because it is all mindset. Yeah. And maybe everything is mindset.
It kind of is.
Well, that sucks because this year has done a doozy on mindset.
I know, man. I know. For everybody.
I got to get back in that game, that mindset game.
You got to work out that hustle muscle again.
Not just the hustle muscle, just like the whole, like, you know, rejection onto the next, rejection onto the next.
Absolutely.
You know, because like right now I'm like, I'll never get this part. Like, I don't know, like you taped me for something this week and I was like, I'm not going to get this, but I want it.
We both always say that.
But I want it. Like I want this job like really bad. And so I don't know. I've been trying to conjure it. Like every time I'm like, send me an email with a callback, you know.
We'll see.
I don't know. You just kind of have to like build this weird rejection muscle.
Yeah. 2 muscles you need. Hustle muscle, rejection muscle. They're in very different parts of the body. So don't cripple yourself.
The hustle muscle is like a muscular muscle. The rejection muscle is more like a callous muscle, like a
callous muscle.
I don't know. Like it's for defense, not offense. Like it's when you're like, punch me in the stomach. That's the rejection muscle.
It's the hustle muscle and it's the regalis.
Regalis?
The rejection callus. The regalis.
No, yeah. The rejection callus is like when you're like, punch me in the stomach and you tense your stomach.
But you have to be ready. You can't do a Houdini on somebody and just go up and punch them.
But the hustle muscle is more like, hey, yeah. And you're going through like 12 like boards.
That's right.
With your karate chop.
That's right.
That's the hustle muscle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. We should wrap it up. Do you have recommendations?
Oh, yeah. This week, Paul and I have discovered
That's right.
Dairy Girls.
I know. We're probably the last people to this party.
We are, because my mom was like, I just watched Dairy Girls a second time. And I was like, what? I was thinking of watching that. And she's like, you haven't seen Dairy Girls? Like, she couldn't even believe it. And then she was like, okay, you need to watch Dairy Girls. And I want to know which Dairy Girl you are.
Your mom gave you a quiz, an internet quiz.
And then I asked Paul, I was like, which Dairy Girl are you? And he didn't know.
I still don't know.
Who's your favorite Dairy Girl?
I think Erin is my favorite.
Michelle's my favorite. I like Michelle because she's like, here's what we're going to do. Like every time.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. They're all so great, though.
They're all the best.
They're all so great. I love Sister Michael and the parents, and it's just a really wonderful show. And I feel like everyone has already seen
the
this.
writing is so good. Yeah. I don't know. There's going to be people out there who haven't that are going to appreciate this recommendation.
Maybe, yeah.
I will say this. Go ahead and turn on the subtitles.
Yeah, the accents are wild.
But also there's a lot of slang. So there were like words I'd never heard of before that they're saying, like, oh, it's a crack.
I saw a couple subtitles.
I was like, what?
I saw a couple subtitles that I knew because I'm better than you with UK accents.
Yes, you are.
And there were a couple subtitles. I'm like, that's not what she said. It did not happen often. And I was trying to make myself not look at the subtitles and just look at the actors, but it's hard. It's hard. The accents are really thick.
I loved the writing of Dairy Girls. I thought it was like kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
To be honest.
It's a terrific show. I was stunned at how old all of the actors were.
Oh yeah. Then we looked up all the actors that were playing the teenagers, and I was like, you're never gonna guess how old Erin is.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
They're mostly in their late 20s?
They're mostly in their late 20s. I think there were like a couple that were in their early 30s.
Yeah. It's just bananas.
They just like sell the performance so well with their energy and their physicality.
You pointed out the physicality. Like they walk like they are young. Like they move like they are young people. It's really...
They move fast.
Yeah.
They move and talk fast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, that's like... It's high energy performances.
Yeah.
It's high energy performances.
It's so good. I'm so glad we started to watch it. And now we're all caught up and
there's
that's
a third
sad.
season coming out.
I know. We got to wait. Like everybody else.
That's my recommendation. So
I think that's
yours?
mine too. I might have another one, but I can't think of it right now. This has been a long week and I'm tired.
Well, in a weird way, you did recommend Rutherford Falls.
Yes. I would reiterate that for sure.
Even though you were plugging it.
Yes.
Because you're in it. But you also were genuinely recommending.
I'm not in it more than I'm in it, and it's a good show.
Anyway, you guys, this is a tough week for.
Wait, I will say this is another
in America.
plug.
Yeah,
we're doing a Thrilling Adventure Hour show tomorrow. This is Friday as of this recording, and tomorrow Saturday, the
April 24th,
our anniversary,
our 11th
anniversary.
Paul has scheduled a show. I guess
we're
first time hearing of it.
We're doing a Thrilling Adventure Hour show, all new material, 5 p.m. Pacific, and you can get tickets at paulftompkins.com/live.
Is that www.paulftompkins.com?
Yes, World Wide Web
/live?
.paulftompkins
/live?
Yeah.
/live?
Not /.
Backward /
// HTTP. Wait, sorry.
HTTP.
www.http://
No, it's HTTP://
Is it HTTP? Then the
www.
HTTP:// www.paulftompkins.com/live.
Great. Check it out, guys. Will it be available after the live?
It will be available for 1 week after streaming live.
Well, there you go. Now you have stuff to do, you guys. You have stuff to watch. We didn't give you anything to read or listen to because we're that lazy.
Don't read.
Don't listen. Well, we did give you something to listen to in our sponsors.
Oh, wait. I'm
Workplace
also,
Common.
Speaking of listening, I'm in an audiobook, an Audible series.
What?
Oh, where I don't have the info. Shit.
Why don't you just repost it on our Instagram, which is at stayfhomekins?
No, I've been remiss in the Instagrams. Let me tell you something. Here's why.
Paul has fallen off his.
Here's why. I do it for our show and I do it for Freedom.
That's
and
a
the
lot.
problem is that listening, it's hard to listen back to the show because it's 50% me. Freedom, at least I'm only a third of it.
Well, I will say this. I felt like I talked the entire second half and you were just nodding at me.
That's true. I could probably skip the second half.
And I thought you might add some asides or something.
I added some asides. You were on a roll. What was I supposed to do? You had things to say.
I'll say good luck to people who are looking for representation in this industry because
we all know how important it is due to thanks to what's her fucking name?
Who?
Oh God, Nomadland. What's her name?
Frances McDormand.
Wherever she went up at the SAG Awards.
No, what'd she say?
She got, oh my God, honey, this was the funniest thing.
When did this is recent?
Yes, this was a couple years ago. And she won the award, she got up on stage and she went, listen, I got something to say.
Oh.
And everybody's like, oh, you go ahead, Frances. And then she went, representation. And there was this big pause, like, wow, she's going to fucking drop some truth on people. Oh, she's going to
talk about, like, diversity or something?
Yeah, but then she talked about her ages.
Really?
Yeah, she meant literal theatrical representation.
Didn't she say something like, always get something in your contract about something or whatever? Yes,
a certain writer, I forget, inclusion writer.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway.
Most of the time when I'm working, they're bringing me my contract outside on a picnic table a day of.
Yes, exactly.
And it says scale plus. I'm lucky if I get the +10, y'all.
She was speaking to a very select group of people. Anyway, we are stayfhomekins on Twitter and Instagram, stayfhomekins@gmail.com if you want to email us. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you writing to us. We're very grateful that you're listening, and we will continue to do the show. We'll be back next week. And until then, stay safe, stay sane,
and
stay home.
Stay home.